The Alchemist's Grain, a journey through whiskey production. Whiskey, often called the water of life, is one of the world's most complex and revered spirits. Its creation is an art form, combining age-old traditions with modern technology. The process transforms simple grain, water, and yeast into a rich, nuanced liquid. While variations exist between Scotch, bourbon, Irish, and other whiskies, they all follow these core steps. Stage 1. Malting, the awakening of the grain. The journey begins with the grain. While bourbon relies on corn, and rye whiskey uses rye, malt whiskey, like Scotch and many Irish whiskies, uses barley. Steeping. The barley is steeped, soaked, in water to awaken the grain and trick it into germinating. Germination. As the barley begins to sprout, enzymes are produced that convert the grain's starch into soluble sugars, the essential ingredient for alcohol. Kilning. The germination process is halted by drying the barley in a hot oven called a kiln. This is the crucial step where peat smoke can be introduced for Scotch whiskey, imparting that iconic smoky flavor. Once dried, the grain is now called malt. Stage 2. Mashing, the sugar extraction. The goal of mashing is to dissolve the newly formed sugars out of the malt. Grinding. The malted grain is ground into a coarse flour called grist. Mashing. The grist is mixed with hot water in a large vessel called a mash tun. The heat activates any remaining enzymes, ensuring all starches are converted to sugar. Wort. The sweet, sugary liquid created is known as wort, pronounced wat. The spent grains, called draff, are separated and often recycled as animal feed. Stage 3. Fermentation, the creation of alcohol. This is where the sugar is turned into a low-alcohol liquid, similar to beer. The washback. The wort is cooled and transferred to large vats, traditionally made of wood, called washbacks. Yeast addition. Yeast is added to the wort. The yeast consumes the sugars, producing two main byproducts, alcohol, ethanol, and carbon dioxide, CO2. It also produces subtle compounds called congeners that contribute to the final flavor. The wash. This fermentation process lasts between 48 and 100 plus hours. The resulting liquid, now about 7 to 10% alcohol by volume, ABV, is called the wash, or distiller's beer. Stage 4. Distillation, the concentration of spirit. Distillation concentrates the alcohol and refines the flavor. The still. The wash is heated in a still. Two main types exist. Pot stills, batch traditional, copper stills used for most single malts and Irish pot still whiskey. They produce a spirit with richer, more complex flavors, usually requiring 2 or 3 distillations. Column stills, continuous tall, efficient stills often used for grain whiskey and most bourbon or American whiskeys. They produce a lighter, higher proof spirit. Vaporization and condensation. As the wash is heated, the alcohol, which has a lower boiling point than water, vaporizes. This vapor travels through a neck and is cooled, turning back into a liquid spirit. The cut. The distiller must make the cut, separating the liquid into 3 parts. Foreshots. Heads the first part, highly volatile and containing undesirable compounds, is sent back for redistillation. Hearts. The middle part, pure and rich in flavor, is the clear liquid that will become whiskey. Tails. Faints the final part, weak and containing heavy, oily compounds, is also sent back for redistillation. New make spirit. The collected hearts is a clear, high-proof spirit, typically 60 to 70% ABV, known as new make spirit. It has all the grain and fermentation character but none of the color or mellowing of the final product. Stage 5. Maturation, the sleep in the wood. This is arguably the most critical stage, where the spirit earns the title of whiskey and develops its color and signature notes. Casking. The new make spirit is diluted with water and filled into oak barrels, or casks. By law, all bourbon must be aged in new, charred American oak barrels, while Scotch often reuses barrels, primarily ex-bourbon or ex-sherry casks. Wood interaction. The spirit breathes in and out of the charred oak wood as temperature and humidity fluctuate. This process does 3 vital things. Extraction. The spirit dissolves compounds from the wood, vanilla, caramel, spice notes, and color. Subtraction. The wood's charcoal lining filters out harsh or sulfurous notes. Interaction. The spirit and wood compounds react with the air that passes through the wood, creating new, complex flavors. The angels share. During maturation, a significant portion of the alcohol evaporates through the wood. This lost volume is romantically referred to as the angel share. Legal requirements. Most whiskey styles have a minimum maturation period, e.g., Scotch requires a minimum of 3 years. Stage 6. Bottling, the final product. After years of aging, the master distiller determines the whiskey is ready. Marrying. Optional, many whiskies are married, or blended, with other barrels to ensure a consistent flavor profile. Filtration. Optional, some whiskies undergo chill filtration to remove haze-causing compounds, especially for bottling at lower proofs. Reduction. The whiskey is almost always diluted with water to the desired bottling strength, typically 40% ABV or higher. Bottling. Finally, the whiskey is bottled, corked, labeled, and sent out into the world.